Hi everybody, this is Pat. Today we're going to be working on three, what did I call them? Three journal spots or photo spots that we can use in any junk journal. These are a little bit different than what I've made before. This is the Woven Grays junk journal that we've been working on. And let's see, where's the first one I had? This one. Now this one is just two flaps or pages you could use for journaling or photos. And I figured I would angle them on this, not angle them, but layer them on this page. This one up a little bit and this one at the bottom. Well, this one's a little bit wider, so I think I'll put that in the back. Okay, so all I did was, this page measured 3.5, so it was 7 inches wide. This is what I cut it at. 7 inches by 6 inches, so 7 wide and 6 tall. I folded it in half. Gave it a good crease. I inked up the edges a little bit. And now I'm just going to put a hinge on it. So this one's going to be to the back, so I'm going to put that one down first. I think I lost a hinge. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me get my glue. I thought I was prepared. It's close by. Okay. Let's see if it works. I'm not on camera. Hold it. I put my camera in a different spot today, so we'll see if that works out better. Or staying on camera. Okay, the glue's working. That's a good sign. Okay, I'm going to take this piece. Now this is the front. Doesn't really matter. There's no pattern to it. I'm going to put my fold to the left. And I'm going to lay the piece down on the hinge so that the fold is just about even with the edge of the paper. I don't want it sticking out the left side. So just so you can't see it. So there it is. There's the hinge. This hinge I made, it's 1 inch wide, and I only made it a couple inches tall. I don't need it the full length of the paper. We'll give our glue a little time to dry here. That should be good. Okay, fold it over, and I put glue on the side. There we go. Not too much, but you want it to stay in there. You don't want it falling out. And then I'm going to put it on the page. Okay, you can see, right? Yeah. And this one I'm going to put more to the top, not into the fold of the page, not into this fold, just a little bit away from it. Cause too much bulk in your spine. Press it down, put it over, make sure it stays glued. Now we're going to do the same thing on this one. If I didn't lose my hinge. I just had it. Here it is. Okay, here's our hinge. Putting the fold on the left side. This was about 1 inch wide, and I folded it in half, lengthwise. My fold is on this side. I think I'll put it this way. Lay it on the fold, so it's not sticking out, just to the edge. You don't want to see it on the front. Okay, give it a press. Okay. Open it out and press it again. The glue takes hold in about 30 seconds. Not dry, but it'll take hold. Now we're going to put our glue on this side. I hope I'm on camera. Okay. We have our glue. Now this one I'm going to lay right on top of the first one. Little off the fold of the book, like the other one. And then I'm going to press it down. Fold it over. Make sure it's stuck. Okay, so now we have these two flaps to use for, you could decorate the front and journal on the inside. And we know I can never get these open. Here we go. Or you could put more photos using the Print to Size app. You could make these 2.5 by not quite 3. Or unless you do a portrait photo. That would fit at 2.5 by 3. I'll put a link in the description box to the video where I showed how to use the app. Print to Size it's called. On your phone, you can print your photos directly from your phone. No need to delete them or move them. And you can make them any size you want. So you set them up on a page. In that video I show you how to do it. So check that one out. If you want to use photos, that's the best way to get them from your phone. Back here you could also put another small photo. This one, good for journaling. One more photos. I like photos in my books. That's my purpose. And then you still have your page to use. And you have this page to use. So that's number 1. And then I'm going to work on number 2. Okay, now these, I have seen these made online. I don't know what channel, whose channel it was. If you know, let me know. But the only thing I did different on here was she had done a string around it to tie it closed. I think that makes it a little awkward for people to look through the book. They have to untie things and then tie them back up again. So I just made a little closure here. It's made from, this one it was actually copy paper. A couple of layers I punched out with my 1-inch punch. And then I glued them all together, layer by layer. Let it dry. And then all you do is just glue down the very bottom part of this little circle, this little die cut that you made. Let that dry, and then the top is loose. Slides right under the disc. So it stays closed very well. But this one was, I just took a piece of scrap paper here. I was trying to figure out how to make it. Paper I designed, just put some flowers on it. But the liner of the envelope, or little folder, or whatever you want to call it, is coffee dyed copy paper. No, this is vellum, I'm sorry. This is vellum that I coffee dyed. And it stayed very crunchy. I like that sound. And then I just took some lined paper that I had, cut it to size, 2 sheets, one a little bit shorter so you can see that there are 2 pages here. And then I stapled them together at the top with my tiny stapler. And then I just glued down the back edge of the 2 of them. And that's how I made that. So that's some extra journaling spots for you. More photos, of course. And it closes very nicely. Just tucks under your little disc. So we're going to make another one of those. This one I also made. Oh, here are my 2 These are cardstock, so I only needed 2 to make a disc. This one I had grape plaid paper. What I did, I took my scissor and I just cut around the little boxes here, just to make it look different. And then I backed it with a darker piece of paper. You can see the paper here. So that kind of stiffened up the fold on the envelope. And I did the same thing. I'm just going to put paper inside of here also. Or we could leave it like this. That's what I'll do. This doesn't have to have the paper in it. You can still journal in here. More photos. I'm just going to put the disc on here. I'm going to glue this together and let it dry, and then we'll put it on. All you do is, cardstock, you only need 2 layers. Copy paper, I think I did 5 layers. Put the glue on it. Put them together. Match them up. Along the edges, you just want them even. And I'm going to put this aside and let it dry for a few minutes so it doesn't slide apart. And that'll be our closure for this one. Now we're going to make a whole new one here. Here's my coffee dyed vellum. And you can hear the crinkle. Perfect paper for this. I'm going to cut the envelope. This I just made some Frankenstein paper. I had all these little bits of papers left together they were scraps. They went well with the colors. So I just glued them together. I figured this will be my top flap. Like that. You won't really see where I glued. Yeah, you can see where I glued it, but it makes it interesting. That'll be the bottom. Now I want to get the width on this. I'm going to make it the same as this one. So, you need a piece. Oh, my cord is in the way. Sorry. Let me open this up. Now, the length of this piece to make the outer part, this part here, is, say, 8 1/4. 8 1/4 inches tall by 5 inches wide. 5 1/4 inches wide. That's good. So 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to cut this one. I'm just going to use my mat and my knife to cut this. So 5 1/4 inches wide. And this edge is a little crooked. Let me cut that real straight. Line it up the top. And it's a little bit wobbly. Lining it up at the 5 inch side, the thicker line on with my knife. Here it is. This one got a straight edge on here. Okay. Now we need this 5 1/4 inches wide. Lining it up on my mat. Something else is crooked here. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. That'll be right there. Lining it up at the top at the bottom. 5 1/4 here, 5 1/4 here. Okay. Now, see if we have 8 1/4 here. We'll start here. Lining it up on my line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, almost perfect. I'm not even going to cut it. Not, only a little bit longer, not quite 8.5. Okay, so now this is going to be my flap. I want my flap to be about 1 inch. I'll make a little mark here. Nah, say 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches is good. We want it big enough to stay closed. And I'm just going to fold it over. Fold it over. Get a good crease. And I'm going to take the bottom and fold that not quite all the way up to this fold. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. Told you I'm in a new spot here. So yell if I'm off camera. Okay, lining up. You see I'm about 1/2 inch from the fold. This way you can get your hand in and out of there to pull out your paper or whatever. Oh no, we're not sealing the sides, but you don't want it all the way up to the fold. Give that a press. Okay, and that's basically the envelope. Now we want to line it with this vellum. I want to see how much I have to trim off here. Open it out. I don't want it all the way to the edges. I want to leave a little bit of a border. So I'm going to cut it right about here. That'll be good. And then the bottom a little bit also. Right about here. Okay, I'll cut this side first. Lining up on my mat. Doesn't have to be perfect. Cutting right here where I made my mark. I'll make it over a little bit. And trim. I'm going to cut the bottom with my mark. I can't find it. I know I marked it. Alright, we'll do it again. I know I had to cut the bottom a bit. Oh, I see the mark. All the way. It was only a little bit. That's why I can't find it. I'll cut it right about here. Line this up. Probably about, I'm cutting off like a 3/8 of an inch. That's good. I'll test it again. The width is good. Height is good. Could have been a little bit narrower, but it's not going to stick out, so it's fine. It doesn't stick out because I'm crooked. You want to trim one a little bit more off the side. You don't want it sticking out of the envelope. Oh, that way about that much. Perfect. Okay, now this, you know it's going to fit, but we'll give it another dry run. There we go, inside the envelope. We're only going to glue around the outside edges of our paper. We're not going to glue the whole thing down. We'll lose the crinkle. It won't have that sound anymore. So I'm just going to put some glue around the edges. Not too much. You don't want it oozing out. Just along the edge. All the way around. See the clock on my computer, it's already been 20 minutes. I was trying to make shorter videos these days, but I can see that's not going to work today. We're only on number 2. Okay, we have our glue on. Now I'm going to lay this starting at the top. You do have wiggle room because it's wet glue. Lay it down on one side. Oh, didn't hold it off. Let me over a little bit. There we go. Alright, that looks good. That's fine. And we only have glue around the outside edges, so I'm going to give that a press. I want my glue to stick. And vellum is a little bit harder to glue down than regular paper, but it will stick if you're patient. Okay, it's beginning to stick here. Just work it in a little bit. Give that glue a chance. Okay, I think it's holding now. There we go. Okay, we have our vellum on there. Now we're going to refold. Here is our top. Folding up the bottom. Didn't go all the way. I have my fold on the paper. I'm get it straight. Give it a press. And there we have it. And it crinkles. That's the best part. Now this one, I have another one. This one was a button I had printed out. It was actually on this little piece. This was a whole sheet of paper, cardstock. I just filled it in with different things. So I punched these out with the 1-inch punch. I'm going to glue them together. And I'm going to let it dry while I cut my lined paper. Press them together. Give the edges a check. Make sure they're lined up. Now this is only 2 layers, so you're not going to see much of the back layer. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get my lined paper. I'm going to measure the inside. Now I only want it to be below the fold, the top fold, and not all the way to the bottom. So, it'll help if I turn my ruler in the right direction. There we go. I'm just going to make this, the bottom, I'll make 1 6 1/4, and the other one a little bit shorter at 5 3/4. So 6 1/4, a little bit smaller, by 4 1/2. 4 1/2 wide by 6 1/4, and then one that's 4 1/2 wide by 5 3/4. Okay, I have this lined paper I had printed. I was making a book. I'm going to lose my button. Okay. Got my measurements. I know the 6 1/4. Let's see. With my envelope. It's 4 1/2. 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. I'm not going to leave on that spiral part. I'm going to start here measuring 4 1/4. No, 4 1/2. 4 1/2 by 6 3/4. No, by 6 1/4. I'm doing great with measurements today. Okay, I'm going to cut off the bottom first. Well, cut off this side first. I have a line. this one because we need 2 of them. Just cutting off this middle piece. I could use that for something else. Somewhere. Okay. This one needs 4.5. And this one will be 5 3/4, we said, right? Yes. Right on this line. Okay. I'll cut the 4.5 first. And I'll line it up here. This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using my lines, top and bottom. Cut that up there. And the bottom. This is the shorter one. So I'm going to cut right on this line. That's the shorter one. This one. Line it up. Okay. So I'm cutting right on this line. This one. Here's my line. Cut it. Okay, so we have our 2 sheets of paper. Make sure one is shorter than the other, which it is. Let me erase my mark. That's good. And I need my stapler. Hold on 1 second. Okay, this is the top. I'm lining up the tops. I'm just going to staple these together. 3 staples will hold it. Across the top. Okay. And these are going to go right inside of here. That is perfect. And I'm going to put some glue along the back, where the back of the staples are. And I'm off camera again, sorry. Okay, just a little glue across the top. I'm going to lay it in here. Below the fold, you don't want it all the way up to the fold. There we go. Press that down. Try to press down these staples a little bit. Sticking up too far. Okay. Glue that down. Now you can see here's where our first sheet, and here's our second sheet. You can write on here also, or decorate it if you want. Photos, journaling, whatever you want. Okay, now let's get it folded up on our fold that we had. Just tuck it into the fold a little. Give it a crease. And there we have it. I'm going to trim off the edge of these, the flap. They're sticking out a little bit on this side. Maybe I'll just give them a little bit of an angle. A very slight little angle. And I'll do the other side. Okay. That's it. Now you can decorate this up if you want. I just want the closure on there. Here's our little button that we made. And let's see, which way do we want it? Put it this way. Now I'm going to put glue on the back of this little piece, this little button, at the very bottom. So make sure you put my finger where the bottom is. It's right here in the middle. So I'm going to put glue across the bottom of this button. Make sure you cover the whole thing on the bottom, not upward. You don't want it glued down all the way. Now it goes this way. I'll place it so that most of the button is above the flap. And your glued area is right down at the bottom. See how most of my button is above here? And hold it in place. A couple seconds. Allow your glue to dry. Now before it totally dries, take your flap out of there. So you see how your button is lifting up from the envelope? Only the bottom is glued down. I don't want to fiddle with it till it dries, but that's how your envelope flap will go under the button, and that'll keep it closed. So this one, I'll probably ink it up a little bit. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll do that off camera. That one's finished. This is my extra. Now these would go, I wouldn't glue it down, it would go in a pocket. Actually, it should fit in any pocket we've made. Let's see this one. There we go. Fits in that pocket perfectly. Okay. So we have this one. We glue this one down. A little button. Doesn't matter which way it goes. Putting the glue on the back. Only along the bottom. I hope you can hear it. There's a park behind my house. And they're doing a leaf cleanup. The blowers are going. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay, I'm going to put this on. Here's my bottom. I'm going to lay it so most of the button is above the flap. Hold it down. I really don't have that in the middle, do I? There we go. I got the glue. Take out your flap so you don't glue it down. And let your button dry. I have some excess glue here. I don't have a napkin. About a scrap. That'll work. Okay. Make sure your button's not glued down all the way. It should be sticking up like that. Only the bottom of it is. The bottom, say up to here. Can you see that? So. Okay. And all you do is just tuck it back. And it'll keep your envelope closed. Now let's see where we can put this one. How about this pocket? Perfect. Okay. Now, what was that going to be? Another pocket. The third thing that I was going to show you, this is a full sheet tri-fold. It folds out. This is paper I had printed on my computer, on my printer. I folded it in thirds. The front flap is a little bit shorter so you can see where the flap is. Now you really don't have to do much with this. You can put a pocket along the bottom if you want. Small pocket. All 3 of them, or just 1 or none. A lot of room for journaling, photos. Fold in that one, fold that one over. And this becomes a belly band. So all we have to do is glue the top and the bottom with about 1/4 of an inch of glue. Right along there. Nothing in the middle. And right along the bottom. Just about 1/4 of an inch of glue. Okay, now make sure you have it right side up. Here's my opening. I'm going to lay it even with the bottom, centered on the page. It's the same size as the page, so that shouldn't be a problem. Try to line it up. Press down the top and the bottom. Open this up and have a full page here. I just want to make sure my glue dries. So you have inside of here to use. You have this flap here and the front. And then behind there, you can tuck larger things. Paper, eggs. This works out well for bigger things. Good memorabilia. Program from a show or something. You could tuck it behind this large piece. So that's number 3. 3 areas to add journaling spots or photo spots into your journal. Yeah, these are our envelopes that we made. With the writing space on the center and the inside, button closure, and then we did our flaps. More stuff. Behind here somewhere. There. We have our 2 flaps. They can open up. Photos, journaling, whatever you want. And we still have our page to use. To journal it, decorate it, put photos on it. Bits of memorabilia, tickets. And we still have journaling space. Okay, so those are the 3 ways to add journaling spots or photo spots to your junk journal. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. And if you hit the subscribe button and the bell, you'll be notified when I do the next video and put that up. We'll be working on some more pockets. We're going to need a lot of tags. Well, not too many tags. I'm not going to fill it entirely. Okay. So I hope you like this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.